You may be seated. In keeping with what Father Don shared with us yesterday, Sunday, and in keeping with the tone of the gospel and even the third psalm, talking about the struggles and the trials which we all go through, and the deliverance we have in God. Sometimes it's easy to forget that deliverance. Sometimes it's easy when things are going well to forget the tribulation and the shaking and the trials. It kind of amuses me sometimes when I think about, in this psalm, Psalm 3, there's the words here, you, O Lord, are my glory and the lifter of my head. You, O Lord, are a shield about me. I was crying to the Lord with my voice. He answered me from His holy mountain. There used to be a song, oh, there still is, that came from the early charismatic times in the history of the church. And they made a song out of these verses, but it was so upbeat. It was so positive. My glory and lifter of my head. You guys know that, right? My glory and lifter of my head. For you, O Lord, are a shield for me. My glory and lifter of my head. Then it got even happier. I cried unto the Lord with my voice. You sing that 3 or 4 times. And He heard me from His holy hill. Sounds so happy, so upbeat. We're all dancing, you know, having a good time. And we forget that when those verses were read, David was being betrayed by his own son. And it said as he was going up from Jerusalem, going up to the Mount of Olives and crossing the river there, the stream, and running away from Jerusalem, basically running away from everything that he had known for the last probably 20 years, said he was weeping. He wasn't going, my glory and lifter of my head. Because the heading of Psalm 3 says, this is a psalm of David when he fled from Absalom. I just don't think he was fleeing from Absalom dancing and joyful like that. Sometimes when we're outside the tribulation, we forget what it's like. But we were reminded yesterday, just how difficult things can be sometimes. And even now, we're still in the midst of a difficult situation. Logistically and otherwise, things are not just finished. The conflicts and the challenges are certainly still there. And yes, we do have faith to rejoice in the Lord and all these things. But we can also remember that, like David, in the midst of it, it's not always first nature to be singing and dancing and be all very upbeat. Sometimes it's quite tough. But the good news is, as David says here, even in the midst of his trial, even as he is walking up the Mount of Olives, weeping as he goes, and many people around are all weeping and saying, it's the end of an era. It's the end of everything. There's no help for him in God. Now we're stuck with Absalom as our king. And he's not going to be nearly as good as this man. But David said at that time, Lord, I know you're still my glory. You're the one who lifts my head. And he said an amazing thing. He says, I lay down and slept, and I awoke. That itself is miraculous. Because when you're in the middle of a trial, sometimes the last thing you can do is sleep. Oh, you can lay down. That's the easy part. But sleeping, that gets a little harder. Sometimes we lay on the bed at night and we worry about this and we think about that and we figure out in our heads, how are we going to handle this? And it's a difficult time sometimes. If you're in the middle of a trial, bedtime is not a lot of fun. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. You've been times when you're laying on the bed and you're just anxious the whole time and you get no sleep. It's time to get up and you're tired than when you went to bed. But David said, because the Lord is my glory and the lifter of my head. When I cried to Him, He answered me, and I lay down and I slept. And then I awoke. I could awake because I was sleeping. A lot of times we don't wake up in the morning, we get up. But we don't wake up because we haven't slept. If we're in the middle of a trial like David was here, or like Jesus is talking about in the gospel. But David said it's a miraculous thing the Lord has done. I'm able to lay down and sleep. Even though I knew what Absalom was bringing against me, I knew the challenges against me. Everyone was saying there's no hope. tens of thousands of people against me, that's pretty strong odds. Sometimes I know we feel like that. But David said, even in the middle of all that, the Lord is my glory, the lifter of my head, and the Lord sustains me. And he said, I know that salvation, Lord, belongs to you. But again, the key is I was crying to the Lord with my voice. Notice crying, not singing and dancing. Sometimes it's crying out. It is. But he says, when I'm doing that, he answers me from his holy mountain. And salvation does indeed belong to the Lord. So again, just a tag to what Father Don shared with us yesterday. And again, we have an opportunity today. There's no home room, no scheduled breakfast. We're not in a rush to get through by a certain time today. In other words, we can take a little time and cry to the Lord with our voice and know that he will hear us from his holy mountain. So I would encourage each of us, when we come to the place in the service where we pray our suffrages and we cover the general things, each one of us, from the youngest to the oldest, from the one who's been here a short time to the one who's been here since time immemorial, since David and Absalom were walking the earth, maybe. I don't know. Let all of us lift up our prayers to the Lord. Cry to the Lord with our voice. And he promises he will hear us from his holy mountain, from his holy hill. Because salvation is from the Lord. And though tens, thousands stand against us, all sorts of bad reports, all sorts of everything else, David could indeed say, he's my glory. He's the lifter of my head, because I cried to him with my voice. So let's take some time to do that this morning. The Lord has given us these last 2 Mondays, and even this coming Friday is a chance to cry our voice and lift it up to him. So let's take that time and follow the pattern of David and watch the Lord move in our behalf. As Father Don promised and really prophesied over us yesterday, that's what's going to happen. It might look like there's no way. That's what David was thinking, but he found out differently. So let's stand together as we begin our intercessions with the Apostles' Creed and move on and make our